Independent, we wanted the album to show a completely different style from the first album we had, Desolate Shores. And Independent kind of gave an idea of what kind of album it's going to be. Really electronic, where Ian's music is in the very beginning, and about like 3 hours later I come into the song.
Yeah, it's a good trick.
Yeah, so people think it's an instrumental part, you know, where I'm just going to stand on stage and sing absolutely hump all, and Ian's going to play. But no, we fooled it. We come into the song, and I started singing. And basically, the song was written. Ian sent me a backing track, and the song was on the line of a relationship song where somebody gains their independence. But when I heard it more, I kind of got a vibe from it about record companies, about the music business, and how the music business works. Yeah, so I was really clever by turning that into a song about record companies and how we were assigned to Major Records, which is an independent label, and the song is actually called Independent.
It was a great track to work on as well, because I wanted to get a real kind of metallic-y, kind of rhythmic beat going through, and some great basses from some old synthesizers I've had since I was a kid. So some DS55 stuff in there is really, really good.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like Metallica.
Yeah, meant for Metallica sound.
Yeah,
different.
Yeah, without the guitars or the drums or the bass.
We liked on each album. We like to have a nice long song. The last album had a nice long Cold February drawn out, nice long big instrumental bits. So we just did it again this time, except it's longer. It's about 8 minutes long, and I had loads of fun programming that song. Not so much fun making it.
No, and we didn't only do that once, Ian. We did it 3 times on this album.
Yeah.
Ian likes the sound of his own keys.
The second track from the album is Electric. It's actually the first one we wrote intentionally for the new album. Very kind of deliberate is the only way I can describe the production. If you listen to the start of the last album, it's all acoustic guitars, live drums, real musicians everywhere. Real natural flow to the last album.
So this time we have a fake musician.
Yeah, so this time we threw all that out before everyone. And we did it all ourselves, but it was a very deliberate attempt to really go back to the sound that we had like 12 years ago, just kind of go back that way.
We're a more polished sound. This song is actually my favourite song on the album. It's always been my favourite song. I think it's the best music he did on the album, ever, really, to be honest. From the minute you hear it, it hooks you in immediately. It was my choice for the first single, and ended up being the third single, so it just shows you how bossy Ian is.
Yeah, I made that decision.
But the song is actually, when you listen to the lyrics, it's about living your life, and the token line in it is run to the water before the well runs dry. And the idea is that you have to, as the electricity runs through your body, you've got to grab every opportunity and run with it, rather than waiting until life passes you by. And just kind of, a lot of people when they're living their lives, they're just going on and plodding along. Nobody should ever do that, not in my view anyway. But Electric, my favourite song on the album. Fortune Lost is a song that I went to Ian with the melody and the lyrics. It's a very hard-hitting song. It's actually about a relationship I was in, and on the fallout of it, and it's a very hard-hitting song. I love the middle bit where it says, from the day you walked away, something died inside of me, and it's a very emotional song, and I remember when we recorded I was emotional singing it, and you loved the fact that we could do a mid-tempo song on the actual album.
Yeah, when he brought the song out initially, it was the first production I done was an absolute disaster. The second one was also an absolute another disaster. But the way I got around it was I just backed off the song for a couple of months, and for some reason it was just a lot of Christy Moore and some William Orbit stuff at the time, and I wanted to try and pair the two together. You kind of hear as the song plays out, there's a kind of a hook of a Christy Moore song kind of plays through the melody, and I like the idea of the slow haunting ballad, but also having a very kind of fast 4 on the floor beat behind it that you don't really notice unless you're looking out for it. But it's a great track to work on. Really, lots of freedom in there. If It Was a Pet Shop Boy is the most deliberate and to the point song written specific, because we'd had the album finished for a while, minus If It Was a Pet Shop Boy, and I always felt we were missing a real standout, obvious first single song. I know Mark said Electric would have been good for a single and that, but I found that for radio we needed something that was just going to capture the imagination of people, and it did exactly that. Like the online response, as soon as we put the demo of that up, we just got absolutely bombarded from all over the world. The States and Russia, Canada,
Kenya,
love it. Actually, wasn't it Albania loved it? There was loads of people from Albania on to me about it.
They're all my cousins.
Yeah.
Because I'm half Albanian.
But it's very clever in the production. We didn't. It's not a song about the Pet Shop Boys, but we played on a lot of references. Like the intro string would be a very Pet Shop Boy prominence kind of sound, and the middle eight orchestral hit was a very 80s Pet Shop Boys nod.
And the way it was written was Ian actually sent me the track with your vocal on it, saying If I Was a Pet Shop Boy, but that's all that was on it, and I was kind of going, but that's a good title. So originally what I was going to do was I was going to get lyrics and actually take them from all the titles of Pet Shop Boys songs and make it into a song, but I then thought back, what I could do was actually written about a guy that I met who was really focused on the fact that I might be famous one day, which I hope he didn't hold his breath to be dead now, and the song is about like people who are obsessed with fame and how people think that people who are famous are better than they are, which they're not really. And I love the line, I'm not perfect but I'm worth it, even you could learn to love it, because that's really about Ian, because he's not perfect, obviously I am. Through the Years was written years ago, wasn't it?
Straight after we finished Desolate Shores, we done a whole series of songs we were writing for other people. We're living in Germany, we're working in this tiny little room, which is actually big compared to this one. But we wrote a lot of songs in that time, and Through the Years was one of them. And I remember the original demo was done with this very nasty, horrible guitar keyboard sound. We'd been writing a lot of acoustic music at the time due to my extreme fascination with that latest R.E.M. album at the time, and it kind of came out at the tail end of Desolate Shores, where we were still very acoustic but very mindful that we wanted to go back into kind of electronic music, and there was a kind of a crossover between the two that kind of met there in the middle during the early stages in the demo.
Yeah, and the song is a very, very hard hitting song. It's about a rough childhood and being like a phoenix from the flames type of thing. And I think
Hot Press's favourite quote for us. They used it 7 times about 10 years ago. Every time we were in Hot Press, like a phoenix from the flames.
I thought I really got that lyric. I thought that was really original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Phoenix from the flames. I've never heard that before I wrote that, so maybe they got it from me. Subhuman is about being gay. It's a song that's basically telling people that I'm not less than you just because I'm gay. In fact, I could be more. Who wants to be only human? I want to be a superhuman, not a human like you. In other words, somebody who hates people, and there's no reason to hate people. In the chorus, it actually says an awful lot about where it kind of implies that we're all the same, and we're just all a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, from the production side on that song, it's another song where I had maybe 4 or 5 different versions before we ended up where we were, and even when we did finish the album version, we done another version for the single version, the second single of the album. Some very heavy 80s references in there, and kind of a Blue Monday bass line going on, some very good arpeggios, and then when it came to doing the single version, we actually used the entire drum production was done on an iPad, which was new for me, a brand new way of doing music for us. So it was interesting, it was good.
We added some bits in as well for the single version, some vocal bits when I went up into my higher vocal range. just to kind of change around the song a little bit, and it actually ended up being as Canvas and Nick was really, that's really cool.
Yeah. He was the Michael Cork got a lot of airplay on that song, and my Akai, it's here, my Akai SG, the bass sounds off that really pumped that song on.
Yeah, the best thing about the song, the vocals.